Awesome.
How we doing?
We're all good. We're finally set up.
Oh, it didn't take long.
Sorry?
Didn't take long at all.
Nah,
4
just
hours.
Yeah. So we are at Cheers Bar again.
Yep.
Thanks to our host Cheers Bar, and it's always grateful to be here. And if you haven't already, do like, comment, and subscribe to the Nick and Nat Football Club podcast.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. It's easier to donate a kidney, isn't it? So yeah, we always tend to forget to mention this, and we always have too much fun. And then at the very end, we ask people to do that. So I was duly reminded today. Try and get it done at the first thing. So here we go.
Yeah.
And with us today is Robbie.
I've been called worse.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us today, Robbie. I
pleasure.
I noticed you're wearing a really nice football shirt.
Yeah, I'll be sucking the gut in for the next however long we do this. But yes, pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you. No, thank you for accepting. And so yeah, just tell us where you're
Hold
from.
on, I've got to interrupt there. Look at that badge. That badge looks a lot better than yours, Nick.
Better than this
No,
one.
the one that you had on. Do you remember a couple of podcasts ago?
Yes, I actually drew the badge, and I've got a blue and black old AFC Bournemouth top, and I stuck the old AFC Auckland FC badge on. I looked for it last night and I couldn't find it. I found the shirt, but I didn't find the badge. It's got to be somewhere.
Okay.
So shame, but never mind. I spent 2 hours drawing it. It's not an easy badge to draw because you've got to get the lines right and stuff. So and then I had it laminated, and then I showed Matt my new Auckland FC top, and then the badge fell off.
It was hilarious.
I think there's a short, isn't there?
Yeah,
there is
a
short
out
there. Yeah.
Link below.
Link below.
There's the camera. I don't know. I'm looking at the screen here. Link below.
So, okay, can I continue?
Carry on, mate. Please carry on.
No worries.
Be my
Thanks
guest.
for being here, Robbie.
Pleasure.
Just give us some context. Where you're from? When did you come to Sydney? What do you do? Kind of thing.
So I'm a bit of a fruit salad. I was born in Papua New Guinea many years ago. So moved to New Zealand when I was about 12. Raised there until 2012 when I moved to Sydney, and this is where I've been pretty much ever since. Been football the whole time. That kind of started because my mum wouldn't let me play rugby. So, but yeah, for some strange reason, that playing football was fine, but then being a goalkeeper, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I've been haven't been concussed, touch wood, but like I've copped injuries playing in goal, so it was redundant.
What's the worst?
So I sprained my ankle. I rolled it, but I rolled it the other way,
Inwards.
So not the rolled it out. I was coming out to stop a 1-on-1, got clattered into, and then kind of went backwards.
That's the normal goalkeeper thing. Got clattered into.
Oh, I mean, the other guy was out of control. I was clearly there. I picked the ball up. He ran into me, folded backwards. I heard a crack, not a snap. It was a crack. So luckily it was just a reverse sprain. But
I thought you were going to say you broke the goalpost.
No, I've run into a few goalposts. I've had the classic take a shot, ball hits the post, I turn around.
Have you?
I've had a few own goals that way.
Wow,
that's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's happened to me.
Particularly when I had to come off after that because my eye was shut, like it was hit that hard. It just went, That was fun. I didn't live that. Yeah. That my teammates reminded me for quite a few weeks after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
My brother was a good goalkeeper. He was actually professional at a young age, and he got concussion. I can't remember what. You guys talking to the mic a bit better, being a tech guy. Right. He was got concussion. Doctor said, do not look at the TV. Do not have a hot bath. Don't do anything that's going to stress your head out for a while.
Wow.
So he had a hot shower. Fainted.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. Fainted, and we heard the almighty crash. So I go running upstairs, and he's falling. He's not the smallest of chaps. He fell out of the bath because we had a shower in the bath, of course, right?
Yeah.
And he was lying behind the door. So as I opened, I could hear him go like this. And I squeezed myself through the door, With that, my mum comes storming upstairs, straight through the door, hits the door on his head.
That's what I was expecting to happen.
Yeah.
What's the matter? Bang.
Crack, like that. And the ambulance was coming anyway, but straight onto his head.
So if he wasn't concussed before then, he
definitely
was.
Definitely afterwards.
Yeah.
So it was mum's fault.
Yeah.
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 Sure.
But you got a lot more intelligent afterwards.
Oh, really?
That's mum's excuse. I knocked some sense into you. Yeah.
So yeah, but being a goalkeeper, I totally know and understand, and
Yeah.
See, in the I used to live in Spain, but just before we moved to Spain, everyone wanted to be a goalkeeper. See, we had iconic players, and we're talking about the early 80s. We were talking about Pat Jennings from Arsenal.
Yeah.
We had Ray Clements from Tottenham Hotspur. We had a couple of other goalkeepers as well that were quite high profile. They had a guy from Manchester United. I always forget his name, and I never bothered to look it up afterwards. But I think he was a Scottish goalkeeper, and everyone wanted to be in goal, which was. And I remember having my first goalkeeper jersey with the padded elbows and things and stuff. And so I just continued that trend when I moved to Spain. I was a goalkeeper for. In Spain, we have things called peñas. Now, peñas are official supporter groups for different first division teams in Spain. So in the area I was living in, they had a peña for Athletic de Bilbao.
Yep.
And I was the goalkeeper for the Athletic de Bilbao for one season. I was staying in that particular city, and then I moved, and then didn't transfer, do anything like that. But
Nice.
But everyone seemed to love throwing themselves around.
Goalkeeper's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I started as a goalkeeper because I was the biggest kid, and naturally that was always what happened. But I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very thankless, and you get blamed a lot when it's never your fault.
There's no defenders, and then you're the last man.
It's got to get through 10 others before it gets to me. That's what I always tell my
that's true,
team.
isn't it? So, hey, look at yourselves.
100%.
But is it true that goalkeepers are never expected to save a penalty?
The odds are very stacked against a goalkeeper for sure. So there's not as much pressure facing a pen, because I mean ultimately it's the striker's generally expected to score, which makes when a goalkeeper does save it.
Hey, bonus.
Exactly.
But this is what I don't get. They always seem to throw themselves to one side or the other, whereas most of the shots are through the middle. So why?
You know what? That always pisses me off.
Really?
As a goalkeeper.
Right.
Can we swear on this podcast?
We'll
maybe not. Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's one of those we try not to.
Try not.
He knows what a potty mouth I have, and you've got it's.
He's done well. I've trained him well.
Yeah.
I've got stab marks at the bottom here. Where I'm going, blimmin' hell,
yeah.
grinding away on the.
So
shoulder.
tell me what.
No, it's always. It struck me as a goalkeeper, if a penalty taken went down the middle, to me there was no class unless it's a Panenka.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
Panenka.
The little dink. You know when the
okay. Okay. Yeah,
named after the Czech guy in the 70s, I think. Yeah.
His first
not the groundsman that couldn't straighten out the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just always thought like the battle is to try and beat the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Or make him go one way, then you go the other. But if you hit it straight down the middle, it annoyed me. But like as I got older.
But if you saved it, you didn't care.
Oh yeah, it's like
true. Yeah.
When someone attempts to go down the middle or tries the Panenka down the middle, and the keeper just stands there and just goes, "Go away."
Who was it? It was Stan Collymore that shot for Liverpool. But it was Blackburn. Was it Tim Flowers?
Tim Flowers?
Yeah, Tim Flowers. It hopped over his shoulder. It was Collymore.
Yes.
It wasn't the hardest of shots. He bent down nice and
I remember
just,
that. Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Vaguely remember it.
It just travelled down, and then all of a sudden it just went over, and there's something in the ground that must have.
the bobble. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what it was? It was where they used to. I'm sure it was
sprinklers.
Pardon?
It must be something to do with the sprinklers.
No.
I think come out. No.
No, what it was, it's where they used to mark the goalposts on the 5 yard.
6 yard box.
6 yard.
Yeah.
Mate, metric.
It's only 1 yard off.
Right.
Close enough.
I'm dyslexic, so anything, it could have been 54 yard line. Right. So they marked the centre and the goalpost back in the day, and they used to
Yeah.
do
Scuff
that,
it. Yeah.
and that's what it was. It hopped over that.
I've only ever seen that
part.
once. I've only ever seen that once.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, it's just one of those freak
yeah.
Yeah.
things. Tim Flowers is a great goalkeeper. I used to
Very
love
good
watching him.
keeper. Yeah.
He was I mean, because I was born near Blackburn, but I never quite got into following football from that region.
Yeah, right.
I always wanted them to do well, but once I became a Bournemouth fan, but when I became a Bournemouth fan, it was like third division.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then they'd ask, but what's your real team? What's your Premier League team? I said, well, I don't really have one. You know what I mean? Like I was happy to follow Bournemouth. I feel more identified with Bournemouth. You know, you go up through the stadium, the ground, and it was wooden stairs. You remember the time when they had the wooden stairs, the creaky wooden stairs? And,
No, I don't, mate.
and,
I might have gone
they're
up
the
it.
dark days of the third and fourth division.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was interesting. No, just going back to Tim Flowers, it was.
Yeah.
I think he was great. He was a great goalkeeper. So.
Did you score from the halfway mark? From your goal line at all?
No. No, I've set up a couple.
Yeah.
I've had a few assists,
Awesome.
bombing it long, but I've never scored from my own goal.
Right, let's get another guest in. Right, that's it. That's it.
Thanks. I didn't know that was the criteria.
The criteria.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's just my.
I have scored a hat trick at club level.
Have you?
Playing up front?
Oh, good man.
So I've got that to my
There you go.
name.
He's back in again now. So.
Yeah, you're in. No, my brother, he because he's pro, literally he has to throw it out because there's just been like freak of natures where even in professional where goalkeepers have kicked the ball up and it's just bounced over everyone's head and gone in.
Yeah, I've seen that happen a few times. But yeah.
Just
that was Begovic, Asmir Begovic.
Yeah.
He scored. I think he was playing for Stoke.
Yes.
And Boruc was playing for Southampton, and he just whacked the ball. It's funny because both those goalkeepers ended up playing for Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Right.
And so that was. I remember that particular one, but I do know there's more.
Yeah.
But cool. So you're from New Zealand.
Yes.
Or Papua New Guinea via New Zealand. I was interested because when I first came to Australia, the football Kingz started playing in the old NSL.
Yes.
So I have no recollection. The name, yes, but not actually ever watching a match.
You didn't miss much, I'll be honest. It's, I don't know. I think New Zealand football fans look back on the Kingz days with, not. How do I explain this? There's a fondness, but it's not a successful venture. It's very much like I don't know how to put it. They look back on the Kingz and go, the old Kingz, eh?
You tried. You attempted to.
You tried. There were moments, there were flashes, but yeah, for whatever reason, and this is be going back 20, 25 years now, nearly.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite stick.
Right.
There was a lot of change going on with Australian football around that time anyway, because Kingz came in at 99, I think it was, and then the NSL finished in 04, so it's only 5 seasons before the A-League started. But it never really got off the ground.
Was that in terms of the fan base, or was that in terms of being successful? I mean, it just depends how people measure it, because if
it was a bit of everything. I think New Zealand football fans, New Zealand fans, sporting fans in general, are quite fickle. They'll always, they love to back a winner.
Yeah.
So when a team's winning, they'll do, sell out stadiums. If they're not, then it kind of you struggle quite a lot. There were days when Kingz and Knights fans would number in 3 figures, less than 1,000.
Wow.
Really? But this is for a capital. Well, it's
for a top league game.
Not technically a capital city, but I mean Auckland is the biggest city, of course. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, and that that was down to a lack of success. There was you go back through the history of anything related with New Zealand football. There's always, as it is with anywhere, there's always kind of background political something's going on.
Was that because there was no history really as well? There was no history of other football teams in New Zealand
professionally. Yeah, I suppose. I remember getting into it because as a football fan, that I just wanted a team to support.
Fair enough.
And I wasn't really playing club football at the time. Like late 90s, I was high school, so I was playing high school football. Yep. For my college, St. Peter's College, shout out.
Comments below if there's anyone watching.
anyone SPCL boys, yeah. But yeah, there was just no one to support. Like I had my Premier League team. I'd watch football, whatever was on, but there was no one that I could go and watch.
Yeah.
So when the Kingz started up, awesome.
Yeah.
But then, like when I was in uni, I bought a season ticket to Kingz games for like $20 as a student discount for $20.
That's pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
You can't even get in for $20 for
No,
a single game these days.
Not at all.
I think the cheapest ticket that we're looking at getting, because we'll be going to the Unite round.
Yep.
I think it's $30, isn't it? $30
Yep.
for
That's
the
good.
Auckland. Yeah, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. So the Kingz at least lasted longer than the Knights, though, didn't they?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they were only. Is this
2
bringing bad
seasons.
memories up for you now? Is
It's yes and no. I mean,
okay, I just like to start from the history and the background, and then because then I guess we can then look at Auckland FC
yeah.
with optimism.
Yes.
And so the New Zealand Knights. Now, did they take any players from the Football Kingz into that squad?
Yeah, there was a little bit of crossover there. Struggling to remember the exact details, but it was a New Zealand franchise, so there was always going to be a local, flavour to it. So a lot of the Kingz players did move into the Knights squad, but it was the same sort of. Again, it never really got off the ground. There was, for whatever reason, it just never struck with the local public, unfortunately.
And the first season, I do remember looking at the figures. I think you didn't even reach not even double figures in points for the first season.
One win across the whole season.
And that was, how many games was that? Was that back in those days? It would have been about 20 games? No.
21 games, I think. So it would have been 8 team comp, 3 rounds essentially. 20 odd games. And they didn't win a home game at all that season.
So who did they win against away?
I think it was Central Coast in Gosford. And it was like a 1 or 2-0, I think.
In the first season?
In season 1.
And they're the ones that reached the final.
Yep.
Wow. So that was a kind of a big
I think,
win.
yeah, it was early doors because the reason why I remember that, season 2, I went to a Knights home game with my best mate Sam. Just it's like something to do. We'll go and watch this, kill a couple of hours. Went to this game, and it was the game that the Knights broke their 20-game winless streak.
Oh, cool.
It was, and I remember it. 86th minute, Malik Buhari scores an absolute cracking volley top bins.
Yeah.
To win the game 1-0.
Wow.
In a crowd of, I want to say, a couple of hundred.
But I bet they were celebrating.
And my mate is not necessarily a football, like he loves his football, but he's not an anorak like us. He was just like, why the hell's everyone? You don't understand, mate. This is history.
This is historic moment.
And that was literally like, if not the first home win, it would have been one of the first home wins.
Yeah.
So it was,
And that was during the second season.
Season 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then in season 2,
couple more wins. I think it was like 5 and 16, whatever the record was. But
but
again,
then it ended because what happened between that end of the second season and then obviously they didn't start the third season.
I can't remember exactly, but there would have been something from, I want to say the A-League kind of looked at it and went, this isn't working.
Not working, yeah.
And we want a New Zealand presence, but this is just not working.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Terry Serapisos came in, basically saved the day, and the Phoenix rose from the ashes.
Yeah. But did that take a couple of seasons, or did the Phoenix start the following season? Because I do remember there was a gap or something. It might just be me, but I mean,
I can't remember exactly around the early years of that, but I want to say it went straight into. I think it was Phoenix would have been 08.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I could be wrong on that, and I'm sure people will correct me.
Yeah. Comments again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just really interesting because there's the it could have been a relief for some fans.
Yeah.
And the pressure was off, maybe.
Yeah.
And if you can support a Phoenix, the Wellington team, and they do badly, you say, well, it's not my team.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I just wanted to support a New Zealand team.
Right.
So I was happy wherever it was to be in the Australian League, to be the New Zealand representative. I'm happy to, and I did. I supported the Phoenix. I was a member a couple of years.
Really? Yeah.
Back then, and loved seeing what they did, especially last season. It was amazing.
Well. Yes. Yeah.
But as soon as that final whistle went, the shirt came off. I said,
"That's it." Because
thank you. I'm done.
Yeah.
I've got my team back.
Now, so I've written down here there was a 17-year gap between the end of the New Zealand Knights in Auckland and Auckland FC. That's a long time.
It's a generation, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. So, how do you feel when Auckland FC franchise or the Auckland franchise, because they didn't reveal the name straight away, did they?
No. They won the tender, basically.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Tender. What do you mean? As in, like, did they go?
There's a whole bidding process for for expansion teams. The league wanted to expand in New Zealand, and it was obviously there was a strong Auckland. We want it to be here, and there were a couple of like Bill Foley was one who put a bid in, and there was a couple of other consortiums and groups, etc. So when
it just doesn't get handed out to anyone.
No, I just wondered when you said an auction. I was like,
well,
I'm half asleep anyway. I'm actually really enjoying listening to you two go at because I've got no idea. I generally have no idea. I don't even know about the mics, and I set them up right. But then when I was like, auction?
Well, yeah, it was basically.
I thought you expected me to bid. Then I was like, when I was asleep, I was like, auction, £10. No, I did. I was like, I don't understand. I was like.
Yeah, there's obviously a whole bunch of criteria to it, but it's financial backing. It's can you
sustain,
keep putting money into this and not go under, which the A-League has seen a few times, and Bill Foley's probably
North Queensland Fury was one of them. I think
that was one. Gold Coast United.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So Bill Foley, obviously with his CV and what he's got, there's it's pretty solid. So
well, apart from the ice hockey, we won't.
What do you mean the ice hockey? They won it last year.
They won. Yeah,
it's ice hockey. Who watches ice hockey? Forget about Canada. Right? Come on, boys. Come on. Let's do this.
I will say, I used to think that. I think, what is this? But I've worked on a couple of Winter Olympics. I went to the States and watched New Jersey
Devils.
The Devils play. Okay. You get you get an appreciation for it. It's actually quite fun to watch. It's fast.
Yeah, no, I know.
The skinny blokes in these big suits, and then
I mean the fact that you can kick off a game or center puck, they just throw down and start punching
That's
on.
That's amazing.
Oh.
It's like Aussie rules, mate. I'm sorry. I have experienced one Aussie rules game, and I walked into the stadium. I was up at the Gabba. It was the Lions versus the Magpies, and there's a Magpies lad on his knees going like this to the ref, looking at the ref, and Brisbane Lion lad stood there, and he turns around and just hooks him straight between the legs, right? He goes down, play on. And I was like, I'm not joking. As I walked into the stadium, I see that, and I was like, this is my sport. I love this. So I understand it's like I've seen the ice hockey, literally they throw down, gloves come off, sticks come down, and they're just.
And the thing is, I love the fact that the umpires just kind of let them go at it, and as soon as they hit the ice, that's when they break it up. But you can stand there and just keep going at it. Yeah. It's quite funny to watch because they get gassed.
Yeah,
like they just start. Yeah.
It's like watching old school UFC, or just any sort of like fighting. It's like they're just going at it, and then until someone's just drops. Yeah,
and
brilliant.
Then all the ref has to come in and goes, whatever.
Come on, lads. Wow. There we go. Pat them on the back.
You sit down. 2 minutes. All right.
Yeah. Amazing.
Pull off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on. Where were we? Bill Foley. Bill Foley. Yes. Good portfolio.
So he's bidding. Yeah.
So basically, he's got a firm. He's got basically a whole bunch of franchises behind him that have been sustainable, have had success. The A-League looked at it and went, okay, you're probably the best guy to do it. And then from there, this is where we are now. And I have to credit them. They've, in my eyes, done everything right. from the ground up, obviously there's going to be one or two things maybe didn't quite hit the mark, but basically,
shirt sizes.
Yes, I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. That cough really sounded like.
I could have sworn you said shirt sizes. No, my mistake.
Yeah, my hearing aids. What excuse have you got?
There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, you've done everything right.
I think they've done everything right, and that's why I'm very confident this will last. And I a lot can be taken from what the Phoenix did. They have become a sustainable entity. I think Auckland FC can be the same, and I certainly hope they are.
Flights.
Okay, you're going to go into that.
I'm going straight into that now.
Right.
Okay.
So for fans in Auckland coming over here to Sydney and vice versa, it's not cheap. So
No.
what's... do you know anything? I'm not expecting you to. Yeah, by the way, I've got. Let me phone my mate up who works for the travel agency. But I just imagine that surely there's got to be something that they could turn around and say, look, we understand it's going to cost you at least $400 or $500 to come over.
Yeah, that flights alone, and then accommodation, tickets,
Yeah.
all that. Yeah,
Beer.
Yeah. Well, no, they can't afford a beer now. It's
stadium prices.
There's actually, I don't know if you know, around Sydney stadiums, especially when the New Zealand lot turn up, they actually put benches out so everyone can sleep at night afterwards because they can't afford it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Whatever you say.
Right.
No, but
it costs a lot. It
yeah,
doesn't.
I know. But I heard a rumor. I'm not sure if it's a rumor or something. Did the Wellington Phoenix actually subsidise fan travel at any stage? I remember hearing something about that. No,
I want to say for finals campaigns they did. I think maybe a couple of like important round games. I think they have.
Is that when they obviously needed the fan base to come and make a difference, or to?
I think so. Yeah.
But how would that work? Because if you say, look, we'll offer you 50% airfare, right, and they go over, and they might not bother to turn up to the game. They just want to take advantage of the airfare price. So how does that work?
There's probably something through club memberships, I think.
Right. Okay.
If you're a member of the club, you have access to discounts.
That makes sense, wouldn't it?
But we were talking about this. I can't remember, maybe a few days ago.
No, was it last?
Maybe last night, or the night before last.
Blends into one, doesn't it?
Does,
Do you know what I mean?
it does.
We're always
but I was
talking
just saying,
football.
how would you work it so that people don't take advantage?
Yeah.
You know, like and you're right. It has to be club members. It can't be just anyone off the street who wants to.
Promo code. There'd be something at a certain code you'd put in at the checkout to make sure that you're not. Yeah,
just anyone.
Well, and like I think I said last night when we were speaking about it, is that maybe you get it rebated. Do you know what I mean? Maybe if you go through with the promo code and everything, then they go, look, obviously you got to spend out for the flight and everything, but then we give you that back a couple of days later or something like that. It
has to be
It'd
something.
be something.
But
I can't confess to knowing exactly how it works, but I'd say maybe the club would I guess bulk bill, pay for a certain amount, and then the rest is made up by the fan.
That would be good, wouldn't it? You imagine I know it's a bit of a stretch here. They charter a plane. Do you know what I mean? Maybe
essentially,
New
you
Zealand
can if you bought 100 seats on a Air New Zealand flight, for example.
Yeah.
And get them to sponsor that, and there's ways around working it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's awesome. Now I was just going to ask you, when the franchise was announced, where were you? Do you remember it clearly, like a September 11 moment? I was here doing this and that.
Yeah.
Was this Auckland FC franchise announcement similar?
It wasn't quite like the Princess Di moment or anything like that.
Really?
It was. I think it would have been at work and keeping an eye on it. And you go, oh, okay, that's what it's called. Yep.
So you knew something was up, or you heard about the bidding process?
You knew that there was going to be, because obviously I follow it fairly closely, and particularly with my job working in A-League broadcasts, you know things are coming in advance through press releases.
Isn't it? That is handy.
It's quite privileged.
Yeah,
So it was more just, all right, this is happening at this day. I'll keep an eye on the watch, and then eventually the news came through, and it's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Don't mind it.
Now, did your mind go, I can think of a few names yourself? Did you maybe try and make up a few names? I reckon it would be cool if they called it this, that, and the other. Or did you think of anything? Or?
I didn't really know, to be honest. It was more whatever the Auckland team was called, I was going to be behind.
Yeah,
I just wanted, and the whole time, and like I said, I feel I've done everything right. That was my one thing. Just do this right. Don't come up with some random name. I remember seeing a few ridiculous, like I can't recall them. I got terrible memory as well.
Is it like when they named that boat? Do you remember?
Boaty McBoatface.
Yeah,
you'd see the thing about James Blunt randomly. With
he's gonna. I have.
If he gets his back to Bedlam, back to number one after 20 years, he's going to officially change his name. And I saw it was Blunty McBluntface.
Brilliant.
Just fair play to him.
Yeah.
Like officially change it by deed poll. So I just wanted it. I didn't obviously don't be a naff name. Just be what you are.
Very straightforward and very good in it.
It doesn't need to be anything else. But I guess it was tricky with Auckland in particular because there is already an Auckland City FC that plays in the
I was going to ask you about
the
that.
National League. There's an Auckland United now.
I know, yeah.
Didn't leave them with too many options. But
it's true. City and United are pretty much. I mean, look at the two Manchester clubs.
Exactly.
One of each.
Exactly, and like you couldn't call them Auckland Wanderers. It's
Auckland Athletic, and it'd be like AA. Do you know what I mean? They probably.
I guess you got to look at the acronyms too, eh?
Yeah.
You gotta. Yeah, there's a few things you have to consider now. What does it rhyme with? You know.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
so
true.
I'm happy they landed it with Auckland FC.
FC.
Like,
yeah.
Is what it is.
It's
AFC.
AFC. Just like his club, Arsenal Football Club, AFC, the same thing. Yeah. So
doesn't
can't
need
go
to
wrong
be
with that, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to ask you actually, because whenever I hear of Auckland City FC, or is it called Auckland City FC, or just Auckland City?
Auckland City Football Club, but people just call it Auckland City.
They play in a very basic ground. From what I could search on the Google, it was like patches everywhere and stuff like that. But they are always taking part in the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah, that's.
And I remember they finished third once,
yes.
not too long ago.
Yes,
and I'm thinking this is is it fair to say it's a part-time, like a
semi-pro comp? Yeah,
and it's amazing that I mean, obviously geography has a lot to do with it and the islands and stuff like that, but.
Yeah, absolutely. It was it's amazing some of those campaigns that City went on with the Club World Cup. Finishing third was insane. I think it was Ivan Vislic, former All Whites captain, who was one of the silver ball. I think he won the silver ball in the end in that tournament.
Okay, that was the second highest score?
Like player of the tournament, and then he was like second player of the tournament. Okay. Yeah. And there are a couple of others as well who did really well in that camp. Yeah, Auckland City to get that far, particularly as a semi-pro team with a bunch of semi-pro players, maybe a sprinkling of professionals, taking on these
mega
clubs.
So they must have beaten either an African team or Asian team to get to.
Yeah, I think it was there's an Asian team, Asian Middle East team. Yeah. Then either an Asian team or an African team at the next step, and then South America's usually where they fall over.
I was incredibly proud.
Yeah,
and I'm not even an Auckland City fan. I mean, but I was just happy that a team from my region could get that far.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And I was going to ask you, it's probably this obvious answer, but is there any jealousy or anything like that between other Auckland or Auckland AFC towards Auckland City, or is it a friendly relationship?
It'd be like any competition. Like if like a Wellington team or a team from the South Island, there's always going to be a natural rivalry, dislike, because Auckland's viewed as like the Sydney. You know how people look at Sydney, people look at Auckland the same way as they're the big city. Everyone goes there. That's where all the kind of the money is.
Yep. And
Aucklanders do have a certain air about them.
Yeah. I love that. They put it really well. Very eloquent.
Being one myself. But I mean, you can't help but not appreciate a team like Auckland City taking on the region's best and beating them and finishing third.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I said to you, what's the first thing that comes to mind if I say to you Wellington Phoenix? What comes to mind?
Interesting question.
No swearing.
No. I don't know. Nothing jumps to mind first. I did love them because they were the Kiwi team, and I supported them through thick and thin. I been to a few games in Wellington, been to a few games here. Yeah, I'd nothing but fondness.
The only reason I was saying that because I do remember when Bill Foley was there at the launch or the announcement, and he was saying he wants to have a friendly rivalry with Wellington Phoenix and stuff, and then a month later, the next thing you know, that Bournemouth signs Alex Paulsen, and then ex-Wellington goalkeeper, and then sends him to Auckland. Maybe I should have asked a Wellington Phoenix fan what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say Auckland FC. Maybe there would have been a different reaction. Isn't that interesting? He says, look, we're going to be a friendly, we're going to help each other, and then the next thing you know is like, I'll take your best goalkeeper, thank you. Oh, you're going back to New Zealand.
But I mean, it's that adds a nice little bit of spice to it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was a deal that works for everyone. Phoenix got a very nice little chunk of change out of that deal. It's a great move for Alex because it puts his foot in the door of the Premier League.
Yep.
But then to get loaned back, I mean, looks a bit dodgy, but it's not. It's not anymore.
No.
Now that the A-League
is that the Caceres? The
Caceres clause.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, AP's still a young keeper.
Yeah.
There's no need for him to go straight away.
21, 22? No.
Barely in his 20s. Early 20s,
20s,
if that. So for him, and I've said this a couple of times, it's if he comes back, puts another 30-game season, solid, even if he doesn't win goalkeeper of the year, as long as he's a solid campaign, solid season, that's going to put him in much better stead than sitting on the bench. Sitting on a bench somewhere in England.
Yeah. Because at Bournemouth, I mean, there's probably 2 keepers ahead of him.
He'd be down the pecking order. Like he may be he may sit on a bench for a cup game,
which is still not ideal.
No one wants to sit on a bench.
No, especially if you're a goalkeeper. I think for a goalkeeper, you have to push extra hard because it's very rare that goalkeepers get injured.
It's very rare that a goalkeeping spot becomes available in a starting lineup.
Yeah. So I think it's great. I mean,
and I can say that from personal experience because I had a New Zealand rep,
right,
playing at school. Great dude, great insane keeper. Like obviously, I was a number 2 at best. I came to accept that very quickly. But there were times I'd get subbed on late in games.
Right.
But rarely would I
this
say.
Guy, come on, give this guy a bit of a...
Yeah, give him a break. For God's sake, give him a break. Where are you? Put him on. Ridiculous.
I remember, so my final year at high school, like all the leavers did a little speech for the football lunch or football dinner it was. And I said my little bit, and there was a time where that New Zealand keeper was on the bench for a little bit. I can't remember what the reason was. He was away from the team for a little bit, and the coach was like, he's got to earn his spot back. For as long as you do well, you got it. I was like, oh, awesome. 3 weeks later, I was back on the bench.
Oh,
it's like, but I knew it was going to happen. Like he was a quality keeper, and I was okay. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
I want to talk to you about the wording for the derby because they've called it the Kiwi Derby.
Yes.
I'm not too impressed with that.
No, neither am I.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No.
I would have thought at least the New Zealand
the Kiwi
derby.
Clasico is what they've called it.
Really? Oh my gosh, it's even worse. We had a Clasico last week, didn't we? Southampton versus Bournemouth.
I thought you were going to say the ice cream we had.
Sorry?
I thought the ice cream we had. We had a Clasico. Yeah, that's true, yeah.
But it's interesting because Southampton don't regard Bournemouth Southampton as a derby, even though they're only 27 miles down the road, because their derby is with Portsmouth. And that's more of a historical thing, which I understand.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Why? Sorry?
Do you know why they have the joke side? Do you know why it's what the problem is?
Well, they got 2 ports, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's a Navy port and then there's a commercial port for Southampton.
It was working though, because I can't remember which side it was, but one lot went on strike and they brought the other lot in.
Yes, and Southampton was the only one that didn't go on strike.
Okay,
because all the shipyards around the UK gave the Southampton lot a name.
Snakes?
No, that's the player. I got told off for that on social media. I said, how dare you call it Southampton? I call it Snakehampton because we've got a former Bournemouth player that during the COVID season, which was tough for everyone, but that particular season went over past the 30th of June, which is the average contract expiry date.
Yeah.
And this guy was being looked at by Newcastle, Ryan Fraser, and he didn't want to injure himself. But then all the other players could have done the same thing, but he just decided not to. And then Bournemouth eventually got relegated, and then he comes back maybe about a few months later, said, well, maybe if I had played, Bournemouth wouldn't have been relegated. I'm thinking,
Snake.
Yeah, that's right. So I call it Snakehampton, but I got told off on Twitter, so I thought, oh, well, never mind. You can't keep everyone happy, can you? But yes, so Kiwi Clasico
is what is it'll be officially dubbed.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, I don't know how in deep you are with the A-League, but everything's a derby.
Okay.
Every game is a derby of some sort. Like Wellington Perth was the distance derby.
Yes.
Figure that one out.
How many time zones is that? That must be 1, 2, 3, 4?
3.
1, 2.
No more than that.
There's New Zealand, East Coast, Central, West, I think.
But the Adelaide is on a
Adelaide's half an hour behind.
Yeah, that's right, 30 minutes. So
at
least 4.
So there's
that's like going from. I always remember from the distance from Sydney to Perth was going from Sevilla to Moscow, right? I remember in Spain we used to make these comparisons. So this is even further.
Yeah,
so it's like going to maybe from Sevilla to Kazakhstan or something. We just don't appreciate it. You just think, oh yeah, Australia, New Zealand. You know, it's like
yeah.
Wow.
But that's
distance
what they call
derby.
It. Yeah.
And now I do know because when the A-League first started, we had the Sydney FC versus Melbourne Victory, and that was called something, wasn't it? What?
So it's called the Big Blue.
Big Blue.
But that wasn't, I guess, the accepted name until a few seasons in.
Right.
And I think I could be wrong on this again. It was coined by one of the A-League commentators, Simon Hill, at the time. He just called it the Big Blue, and it stuck, and I love that.
It's great. I mean, it's just 2 different shades of blue, isn't it? Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
So
I still see that as more of a derby than the Sydney versus Wanderers. I still see the competitiveness. I guess the Wanderers, in terms of the Sydney FC supporters, the Wanderers is probably the, I don't say this with disrespect, but the little brother kind of thing.
It's very East versus West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get more excited about a Sydney FC versus Melbourne Victory game.
And I think that's just born out of they're the 2 most successful
that's right.
A-League franchises.
That's right.
And there's a lot of history, and it's Melbourne versus Sydney anyway.
Yeah.
Just there's that rivalry.
Yeah. Now I remember when Melbourne Heart came on the scene.
Yes.
That only lasted maybe 2 seasons.
A couple of seasons, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, I like.
Sorry, say that again.
Melbourne Heart. So it's a red and white stripes, just like Stoke City.
Yeah.
Yep.
And didn't Aloisi manage them?
Played for them and then later on managed them. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And I even had them follow me on Twitter.
Okay.
Melbourne Heart, which is now Melbourne City.
All right.
And they still follow me on Twitter. So, yeah,
Oh.
I kind of like that club. I'm thinking, you know what? It's the second club of the second city, and similar to Espanyol. Espanyol de Barcelona is the second club of the second city. So maybe that's why they followed me. But I was willing to be a Melbourne Heart fan, and then all of a sudden, bang, taken over by the City Group. And I'm thinking, City Group, I'm not so sure.
Does sound like a radio station, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Melbourne Heart. Sounds like a radio station to me.
Melbourne Heart, 104.3.
Welcome to
Yeah.
some sort of jingle.
But this is what the A-League's been interesting. It's had this evolution, so to speak, of clubs coming and going and then renaming or rebranding and stuff like that. And I found that fascinating.
You don't really get that back in the UK, do you? The only time they've done it was Wimbledon and MK Dons, wasn't there? Not unless there's...
That was a big...
yeah.
That wasn't messy.
No,
no
at all.
Straightforward. Yeah, everyone happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way the A-League did things, it was because the NSL was largely based around the clubs that you see in the NSL now, like your Marconis, your South Melbournes, all that. And there was a heavy ethnic background to these clubs, and that got quite messy at times as well, just particularly
United,
off
Sydney
field.
United, Sydney.
Yeah,
Who was the other one? Because I remember actually slightly diverting. I used to play with some mates down in the park before I played for West Ryde Rovers, and I remember every Saturday we'd play, and there was these two lads from Bonnyrigg White
the
Eagles.
White Eagles, yes.
They were 12 or 13. They ran circles around us. We were grown men and stuff, and they were still running circles. I'm thinking, goodness me, where did you play for?
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing in Lilyfield anyway?
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, the setup there is good if they can, the youth setup.
Yeah, that's and that was There are a lot of those NPL clubs now that do have a pretty solid kind of base to them, and this is where we eventually, I think, will have the second tier, national second division.
Yes.
A lot of things have got to be worked out before that happens, but with the A-League, they wanted to get away from that. The ethnic
promotion. Oh, sorry, the ethnic
thing.
stuff. Yeah.
So have it more location, like your Adelaide, Perth, Sydney.
Yeah.
Thing. Do it that way, and then naturally expand.
Yeah, and there will always be people for and against that decision, which is for anything you do. I guess there's that. And I guess in the UK, I'm not sure if that's ethnic based anymore, but I know that it was like coal miners and profession based and things like that.
Yeah. That died out, I think, a few years back. If anything,
I know
it was
that.
It was just more supporter based, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? And then that was the rivalry. It's nowhere near like what it was back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. But that's why they call it the Black Country Derby, because the Black Country, obviously, where the coal came from and things like that. That's when I was saying to you, a Wolverhampton versus West Brom would be a Black Country Derby, not necessarily Aston Villa, Wolverhampton. That'll be a Midlands derby.
Same accent.
Hey?
They got the same accent. It's like American and Canadians. We got no idea, have we? That one's more apologetic than the other. Let's face it.
The English apologising. Yeah.
Is that racist? Was that too bad? Was that?
No, that's fine.
I think
okay, we're cutting that bit. We're cutting that bit.
He never does. He never cuts anything out. And then I go, what do you leave that in there for?
Too bloody lazy. That's why I'm too lazy to do that.
Now, sorry, you mentioned Auckland United.
Yep.
And I do remember, I said to Matt, I think it was in the fourth episode, I said Auckland FC had their first game.
Yeah.
It was Auckland versus Auckland. So it was Auckland United and FC. So Auckland United, where do they stand in the whole New Zealand football tier?
So they're the same competition as Auckland City.
Right.
That domestic.
I see.
The National League. That's gone through a few iterations of its own, but and that I can't remember exactly when that started. That Auckland United came to be when I was living here, so it's still a relatively young, franchise. Same tier as Auckland City.
I noticed. Have you been to any of games? But you're here. But have you followed any games live or anything like that via social media
of the New Zealand comp?
Auckland FC. Of the friendlies, I guess.
Yeah, I've kept an eye on them. I haven't had a chance to go to anything yet. Obviously, a lot of it's based in New Zealand. They have had a few games. They played the Wanderers a couple of weeks ago. They were down in Melbourne recently. Had games against Western United, Melbourne City.
Yeah. But a lot of them were behind closed doors, and I'm wondering why. Why is that?
Not sure.
They just want to.
Not sure. I think the Wanderers one was open. They got a few hundred there. Even travelling supporters, I think, made it to that game. But the games in Melbourne were behind closed doors. Right. I think that may have been a host decision. But I'm not sure.
I get it.
Why though? Do you know? You've got more insight than I have.
Maybe they just don't want to have to deal and employ staff to keep an eye.
It's a training game. So
it's a training game. So just want to keep it minimum as possible and just let the guys practice. That's my guess.
Yeah,
but it would be economic for sure, because then you've got to employ security and
food
and all that sort of stuff. But they did go to, and I always remember the 12th of August. They went to the Central Coast. And that was an open game, wasn't it? And I only found out 1 month later, because I would have gone. Actually, I would have gone to watch that game. Did you know you knew about that game?
No, I didn't realise that until after the fact as well.
Yeah, shame. But anyway, that's just the way it is. I do remember Auckland United going in front both times. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Here we go. We've got Bill Foley's team going behind twice.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was 2-2 in the end. But, I mean, it's just, again, but that was their first ever
hit out, and a whole bunch of trialists playing.
Yeah.
Scholarship kids.
Which I think is a great thing. They
absolutely.
had 8 or so? 8 scholarship kids, roughly.
Roughly, I'd say half a dozen at least. Yeah,
half a dozen. Yeah, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing why I think they've done it properly. Their first signings were scholarship kids.
Okay.
And that to me makes so much difference. Like if their first signing was an
Messi.
overseas marquee, Messi maybe would have made a little bit of an exception, but just some overseas 30-plus-year-old, I kind of went, oh. But, starting it from the ground up, roots, get the kids in, that to me speaks long term.
And that draws the community in.
Exactly.
As well, which is what you want.
Yeah. You want to see local kids do well, so.
Behind Matt, you'll see a Atlanta United thing. Come on, switch to your thing. Come on.
Where's the camera? I went like this. So, this is genuine. I went.
Now
can't see anything.
This is my journey. I used to live and work in Atlanta, and basically, I heard of the Atlanta United franchise. And they did something similar. They set up the academy first, Atlanta United 2. Well, Atlanta United 2 is the USL team, which is the league below the MLS. But they did the exact same thing. I'm thinking, oh, cool. They're consulting the engagement officers for Atlanta United were consulting the supporters. At the time of the announcement and the shirt reveal, the other thing that got me into Atlanta United was the red and black kit
Colours,
for AFC Bournemouth, and they did the shirt reveal. There was one main supporter group at the time, Terminus Legion, which goes back to the history days of Atlanta being a major crossroads in the railway, of the South. But they consulted the fans. They had once a month meetings with the representatives of all the official supporter groups. It was back then it was 4. Back in 2017, and I jumped on that journey straight away, and I was on watching live streams. I was actually watching a live stream of the very first football match that they played against Chattanooga in Tennessee, and that they won that 4-0. But and I felt a part of that, and I'm thinking the club is doing something right. So I'm guessing maybe it's Bill Foley's experience of doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Engage the community first.
Yes,
I was about to say that's pretty much how the Wanderers came to be. Western Sydney Wanderers, they did a lot of work with the fans to come up with the name, the colours, because football in Sydney's West it's ingrained there. So they wanted to get it right. They had to get it right, and they did. But yeah, like I've always thought, regardless of whatever code, if you're looking to expand, you need to put a lot of groundwork in. Ideally, you'd probably want to do it that way. Start an academy team. In a second or third tier, grow them that way, and then bring in your experienced professionals with a couple of those academy kids to come through. Obviously, timelines probably can't happen that way.
Yeah.
But I think with Auckland, they've done it well.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm very hopeful how this team's going to go.
I like the look of the squad. I must confess I haven't seen any games live or anything like that, but I've followed it on social media and the score lines and stuff like that. Who do you think is their best signing so far? And I say so far because they've still got one visa spot left, haven't they, to fill?
Yeah, which I've heard is another South American.
Right. From Colombia, I think.
Yeah.
Nacional or something.
Something like, yeah.
Millonarios or something. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I don't know. Hiroki Sakai is an awesome signing, just on his pedigree alone.
Yeah.
Alex Paulsen's a good one as a goalkeeper of the year, the reigning goalkeeper of the year in the A-League. Scott Galloway's a couple of championships. There's a good sprinkling. At All Whites, current All Whites back in the squad as well. That's always a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. If I had to pick one, I'd maybe go Sakai based on what he's achieved.
Was he at Marseille or was he? He was. Is that his last club?
No, so he was in Japan. I could be wrong prior to that, but yeah, he was Marseille's Player of the Year.
Yeah,
won League 1 season, which is
defender, isn't he? He's
a right back.
He's right back, yeah.
To be player of the season's not bad. One of the best players in the league.
In the league,
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I saw some stuff of Jake Brimmer. I was thinking,
very handy signing
for free kicks, penalties, and open play goals as well.
Yep. He was the A-League's best player a couple of seasons ago as well. Struggled a little bit the last couple, but
really. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that injury or is that mainly?
It was injury. There was a bit of loss of form and confidence, and he struggled for minutes recently. Yeah, the year he won it, I can't remember exactly when it was. A couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
But he was head and shoulders above anyone in the league. Right. But then for whatever reason, it just.
Maybe this is the clean, fresh start for him.
Exactly.
Something to grow and learn.
He's a quality player, and I think
not that old, is he?
No,
mid-20s.
Mid-20s, yeah.
Okay.
And I think the same with the coach as well. Like it's Steve Corica to be basically with one team for 20 years.
Yes, Sydney. Yeah.
I just thought
you've got to be doing something right. They're not kicking you out just yet.
Exactly. As they come through as a player, as a youth coach, assistant coach, head coach, you can't help but think maybe it got stale towards the end.
Yeah.
But he's still had success along the way, and I just think going to a new environment where he can basically, this is the squad I want, these are the players I want. This is the team that he's built. Yeah. So I by all accounts, it seems to have worked. That will to win's stronger than ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think we better let Matt speak. Club shop. Do you want to mention about the Auckland FC club shop?
They let me speak. They can't normally shut me up.
I was just having so much fun.
Truthfully, I'm what you can see here. I'm mucking around doing the production here.
Vision switching.
When there's a production specialist over here, right? And I'm actually enjoying it because I'm sat there and I love the football, but like I don't know enough about Auckland, like I said earlier. I'm just that's going okay.
Yeah,
cool. It's brilliant. It's excellent.
It is quite a thing to be a host, director, switcher.
Yeah,
you very rarely, if ever, see that in.
There you go. You're seeing a rarity right here,
and I can do this really well.
You're doing very well.
No, yeah. Which part? Because I'm actually lost.
Just go for it because we encountered a few things with the club shop. So we go whatever you want to mention first.
Yeah, no, I touched on it earlier. And we spoke about this off camera, didn't we? The shirt sizes. We've got this theory. I say we. We've got this theory that basically every time we mention something, it gets changed a week later or a couple of days later. So we want to know
in relation to Auckland FC.
Yeah,
right.
So we want to know who's watching and who's changed it because Nick wanted a top. He wanted a top, and it's like you emailed and can we have what's the shirt sizes?
I Facebook messaged several times.
Yeah.
I emailed. I dropped a comment after a couple of tweets. I said, please.
Yeah.
Shirt sizes. You say it's an athletic fit, which is tighter than the normal thing. So how do I know which shirt size?
Yeah.
So what was it? What happened one day? I think, we mentioned it on the podcast.
We did, yeah. Yeah, we mentioned it on the podcast and it all changed.
The following...
All changed. The world,
the following
the
week
universe, everything changed.
What happened?
Yeah.
They introduced the size chart.
Yeah.
I even said, I remember seeing the email, I said, look, you don't have to make it up. Just contact NB. They will have one.
Yeah.
Just put it up on the website.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to,
Yeah.
You said you struggled.
So yeah, my experience.
Tell me the story what you said earlier to me.
So I pre-ordered the jersey when it first was like, all right, we're going to put these jerseys out. I was like, sweet, jump on that.
Yeah. That was the July day, wasn't it? When it came out.
Yeah. So same sort of thing. Jumped onto the website. Double XL usually works for me. Right. Sweet, XXL. Followed it for a couple of months. I emailed them a couple of times just because. When's it coming?
Did they get back to you?
They did.
They did. Okay.
They did. I have to say, I had.
Give me the name. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Whoever
we'll find you. We will find you.
I emailed someone at the club, and they either CC'd the club shop, contact whoever that was, or said to me, reach out to these guys. They'll look after you. And to be fair, I haven't had any major issues.
Yeah.
Shirt comes, awesome. And normally, I'd say most normal people take the tag off and then put it on, right?
Yep.
Did exactly that. Okay, this is a bit snug. I'm struggling to breathe right now, but I'm doing
gym membership.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like now that I've got it on, now I've had it on. It's very much a Fitspiration kind of shirt. So, yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, see the video of Ali Williams saying, "Apologies, we got this one wrong. If you've kept the tag on, we'll swap the shirt out for you." Oh.
They can.
Who's
they
that?
can put
LV?
another one
Ali
back
Williams
on.
is one of the owners, the ownership group.
Oh,
former All
but the
Black,
problem is you're here, so it's going to cost a lot of money to send it back. Well,
it was that, but I'd already taken the tag off, so I'm like, oh, okay,
It's
well,
not-
there you go.
It's not good. As a PR specialist as I am, and trained doctor, trained assassin, Casanova, jack of all trades,
Ninja.
really. Ninja, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's a new club. I'm the negative one out of us two, and I am generally the one to find the faults and pick at it. But where most people are, oh, that's a new club, and I do see that.
there's going to be the speed bumps along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So what was the other thing I encountered? I wanted to get a flag,
Right.
right?
Was this the flagpole thing?
yes, it bloody. Excuse me,
You've been watching, haven't you?
The flagpole again. It's the flagpole.
Okay,
Who
so-
I'm
sells-
intrigued by this. Like,
Okay, so I went on. Oh, when was it? A few weeks ago.
Yeah, a
Maybe
good few weeks
3 weeks
ago,
ago or
yeah.
something.
right.
I thought, stuff it. I'll just get the flags. So I put 2 flags down, put all my details in, and then it doesn't. The payment doesn't go through. I'm thinking, what's going on? Or this can only be. They said you can only pick this up at the club shop.
Oh.
We can't send flags with flagpoles overseas. I'm thinking, what club sells flags with their flagpoles? No one. I'm thinking. So again, I sent them I sent them a message, but then we mentioned it on here, didn't
Yeah.
we?
What they didn't tell you, the flagpole was 9 foot long. It's a proper flagpole. You've got to
Yeah.
pull the flag up.
Yeah. Oh.
So what
sure.
happened?
Yeah,
We mentioned it online.
that's correct. And then they changed it on the website so they can sell it with or without a flagpole.
And I'm happy to announce
Hey!
Drum roll, please.
How good.
I
Well,
have
you
my
never
own-
told me you had this.
I wanted to keep it a surprise.
Oh my!
Fantastic.
Not everything has to be choreographed.
That is true. We never
that.
choreograph anything
Look
here.
at that.
Hold on,
Yay.
let's mind your cable.
Mind the cable. There
Right.
we go. Can hold it out there.
There we go. Come on.
That's a beautiful.
There you go, pass it.
That's awesome.
That's not bad.
Here you go,
yeah.
Nick. Bring it towards you, mate, if that's okay.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So yes. So
Very
we've
good.
got a flag now without the flagpole.
Yeah,
We've
brilliant.
got a flag without the flagpole.
Yep.
So
Well
yes,
done.
this will be from now on. This will be hung up in the background. For all
You're going to
future
wear it as a
podcasts.
cape as well at night.
Sorry.
You're going to wear it as a cape at night.
Well,
Bed sheet.
I don't have to. I don't have to wear it as a cape because
Oh.
I'm gonna.
Hey. He's going all out here.
Oh my goodness!
Love
Yes.
Hold on.
Not just.
Where's your tattoo now?
where's
where's
my
your-
tattoo?
He's gonna roll. You're gonna roll your sleeve up. There you go. Can we see that? Okay. Yeah, that's good, mate. That's brilliant.
How good.
Yes, and the great thing about this T-shirt has got
Oh, on the back as well. Yeah, nice.
Hold on. Let's move the mic out the way. Just spin round, mate. There we go. Yeah, brilliant.
How
Amazing.
Good. Well done.
So yes, I didn't want to just buy flags, but yeah, no, it was.
You are. You're gonna get a tattoo next week, aren't you? You're gonna roll your sleeve up. Look what I got.
AFC. Yeah, again, this is a little bit on the
On the
tight side.
tighter
I've got
side.
the 3XL T-shirt,
Yep.
but yeah, no, I like it.
No, good.
And I know this is a bit pricier, but I know because I design and print T-shirts as well. When you have a double, front and back, it does
Yeah, add
bring
the
the price
cost,
up.
yeah.
So I was happy with this.
Okay, right
Nice.
now you've done. I'm gonna reveal.
No.
Oh, I forgot to put it on. Hold on. That's brilliant, mate.
Yeah,
No,
well
so-
You kept that quiet.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did. I wanted, some
Yeah.
some things have to be a surprise, So,
Yeah. No, brilliant.
but look, whoever's watching, and it could be just pure coincidence. But
We
yeah,
want you.
thanks. But there's one other thing. We checked the website again last night, and there's... Yes. I wanted to educate myself a bit more on the players before I spoke to you.
Sure.
And I wasn't able to.
Okay.
So do you want to say what happened? Because you haven't spoken hardly at all. So
Yeah. So there's no pictures of the players. There's no bios. It might tell you where they're from originally, I think, or they're
only
making
with,
up on the spot.
Rimmer, Melbourne.
Was it? Was that
Yes,
it? Yeah.
that was the only one.
That's what we were looking
So
at.
I wanted to go into... Sorry, I'm taking over from you. I wanted to go in to find out who's who in the zoo. And the only person with the picture is Steve Corica. I know he was technically the first signing from the squad.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no bios. There's no pictures of players. So we are... By the time this gets out,
next week.
Well, next week. We've only got 1 week left before the start of the A-League. So Matt might volunteer as a graphic.
Yes.
Don't mention the price.
Yeah. I said 5,000 an hour. That's cheap. That's mates rates. But yeah, no, I think I made a nasty comment.
No, don't say it.
No, there was no swearing, but it was just it was literally.
You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's all they've got at the moment.
Yeah, show the camera. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So look, it's a work in progress.
Hold
but
on yours.
That
Sorry.
one?
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So
it's
Auckland.
still...
And I generally feel like with a couple of weeks to go or a week to go that they should have player profiles, even if
It's just the pictures.
yeah.
In my experience with the A-League teams' websites, that it does take a little while for them to, like, there have been occasions where seasons have started and they've still got last season squads, players that aren't there anymore.
In a digital age, though,
It's not ideal, no.
no. But then saying that, no one did it 20, 30 years ago. No one cared less. Everyone knew who the players were. Like, you lads basically know the team almost.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. No, there's a lot of Wikipedia, Google searching on players that have been done. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But it's
Look, I'd rather Auckland FC be connecting with their community than not.
with this digital age, with everyone that's got a mobile phone, you would think that they would, there's going to be some 12-year-old that's got their new iPhone for birthday or Christmas, and they're going to go, let's look up the local team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But
maybe.
look, hopefully by the time this gets out, the following day it'll be done.
We'll keep an eye on it.
I've got a good camera.
Yeah, no. So, but anyway, look, I understand. Look, and the resources are probably stretched. So, thinking, what do? Do we visit this local school with a few players and stuff, or do we get the person doing some back end stuff in the office?
Yeah, well, I said, because I said to you last night, didn't I? They probably got one person. That's the front of house groundskeeper. I know,
and the coffee maker.
And the coffee maker.
You don't know. Hopefully, being billed, you'd think. But anyway,
I would have thought that they would have done something a bit more PR-y. Do you know what I mean? PR-y. I've coined
technical term that?
That is, yeah. I just do. I just feel that you should. Yeah, they're a professional team. It's the A-League. It's not even. We looked up. Okay, so the teams closer, the two teams I played for that were non-league when I was
in England.
About that high, they've got all theirs. I know the clubs have been going for a lot longer. Yeah, please, I know, but I do believe that in this modern age, it's like, right, we need the website. They got the website. It's good and it looks good. Just put the player profiles in. Even if they grabbed them from previous teams, I'm sure there's something online that you can
put an Auckland FC shirt to a photo.
Yeah.
But you think that they would have done that better. But look, just an encouragement, really. Just
hurry up. That's the encouragement from me. Hurry up.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Bill Foley. I think we touched on this really already. What he
has
brings.
he called you? Does he?
Uncle Bill. Yeah. I've got a few text
Bill,
messages from Uncle Bill.
So you're just trying to fend off all the texts. I'm busy.
Oh, leave me alone. Get back to your clubs.
I asked him to fix the shirt for me. Get me another. If you could send another one over. Yeah.
That's who got the shirt sizes sorted out.
Yeah. That's it. That's what Bill's watching then. That's it.
That'd be good. Do you
How
imagine?
good would that
was
be?
it if he was?
Yeah.
Well, let's
I was in Bournemouth. I was one person away from Bill Foley.
Oh, yeah.
I used to deal a lot with Ned Radovic, who used to work for the Red Bull, New York Red Bulls, and then he became senior vice president of operations. And basically when he came on board at Bournemouth, we were just talking about ideas and things like that, because the previous person at AFC Bournemouth was Max Fitzgerald, who went on to West Ham and now is Wolverhampton Wanderers. The whole supporter group set up and stuff like that. And one of the things I was saying is that, yes, it's great having international fans in Sydney and Montreal or whatever, but don't neglect your local fans, and especially, you know, you've got a bunch of fans in Sheffield and stuff like that. You know, cater for them as well. Don't just think, okay, it might be the top of the icing, you know, it might be the icing on the cake, the international, but your bread and butter base is your local.
The day-to-day.
The ones from Dorset and Hampshire and, you know, the surrounding counties and stuff, and further afield in the UK.
You've got to look after them first.
Oh, absolutely, because they're the ones that bring, you know, they're the season ticket holders. There's XYZ, you know. But yeah, he was based out at Las Vegas 4 out of 5 days. Working days and stuff like that. And,
you called him one game
here. We actually did, didn't we? Because we were watching the West Ham United Bournemouth game.
Yeah.
And Ned said to me, FaceTime at half time. So that's what we did. We FaceTime. He was in Las Vegas and he was organising a watch party, as they call them watch parties over there in the States. And who do they have on?
Cherry Bear.
Cherry Bear
He's
was the mascot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what are you doing in the States, you know? What they've done is that they've got a second mascot, and that one's in the States. I'm thinking, I was laughing my head off. I could not believe it. It's
brilliant.
The biggest surprise ever.
Yeah.
There was about 100 people there. In Las Vegas.
There was more there than there was.
Oh well, there's 4 of us, 4 of us here.
Yeah.
But I was. But yeah, that's the kind of relationship we had. Right, we able to do that. So he eventually left the group because, you know, family commitments and things like that, which I understand. But we're hoping to get Cherry Bear on here.
Oh, how good would that be?
That'd be good. We have to know what the answers are before we ask them.
Yeah. Are you Cherry Bear?
Anyway, something I'm working on. Ned's given me the name of the head of marketing.
I thought you were going to say the mascot himself.
No.
I thought the fella inside to go, can you be...
Mascot X.
Imagine.
Yeah. But anyway, look, we want to do different stuff. We want to have fun with different stuff.
Cool.
People will enjoy that. But I hear he was talking in the launch about a ring. Do you remember that bit?
Yep.
What do you think about that? Is that a very American
It's
thing?
very American.
I know
That's very American, very loud, brash, but
hey,
all for it.
if that's the incentive. I mean, those rings are worth a fair bit.
That's,
And you think the amount of people that would probably try and buy one if they did win, you know, because I reckon normally you can buy
they're custom made. They're custom made.
But you can buy can't you buy replicas?
You can probably replicas.
You can buy replicas. Yeah.
That's I imagine that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but replicas are quite cheap because I was thinking of getting a replica of when Atlanta United won the MLS and they're only their second season, and they were like $30 or $40. I mean, it wasn't, but yeah, cheap and nasty ones. But these ones that Bill Foley, because I was watching on their Foley Entertainment Group website. These are like unique diamonds, and there's about 30 something diamonds in this one ring, and then there's other stuff as well. I'm thinking,
yep, that'd be quite cool.
Man, if I was an Auckland FC player, I'll be giving 200% every.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was an American thing. I think, well, look, the intention's nice. And if he says it, he's not one of those people that says it and never does. He always delivers. So
that's the kind of thing. Like I follow a few American sports as well, and you know, anyone that's won a Super Bowl in the NFL, if you see that giant chunky thing on their finger, you're like, okay, you must have been a decent player. Wow. Just that recognition. If you have that on your finger, then there's a certain respect that you're afforded and owed.
Did you hear of the story of Vladimir Putin and a Super Bowl winner? They got invited over to Moscow, right? And Putin went to him. I don't know if he speaks English or not, but he basically said, "Oh, can I try it on like that?" And this fellow went like this, and then he just went
and pocketed it.
That was it. Yeah, and then the fellow was just seriously look this one up. The fellow just went, "Excuse me," with that. Security got in between them. He walked off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So technically, Vladimir Putin has done a Super Bowl.
That's it. Well, he gets his shirt off often, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
No.
Imagine. Yeah.
That'd be worth
Right.
a
On
lot.
that note,
The wine.
the wine,
you
the
wanna-
wine. Yeah. So Bill Foley,
Hmm.
who we've been talking about, I don't know if you know, owns Auckland and Bournemouth. Right. Also owns. Is it a couple? How many does he own?
There's
I don't
a
know.
couple
A
of
few
Winery.
vineyards.
vineyards in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marlborough area.
Marlborough, yeah.
Yeah.
That's at the north of the South Island, isn't it? Yes. I've
See,
been-
now for me, when someone says Marlborough, I always think of Stonehenge because of the UK.
Yeah, right.
When you said Marlborough, I was.
And I think of Marlboro, which is the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Marlborough
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So
So I
Have you
guess
drank
there'll
any?
be discounts for the
do you want
players.
any?
I wouldn't
Bill,
mind
can you-
trying some Foley wines. Yeah, please, Bill. Send some through.
So great, great.
But I think that's part of the reason why, Bill's backing this Auckland side, or wanted something in New Zealand sporting wise, because he's got such an affiliation with the country
Yep.
already existing. So this is just the next step to
Yeah.
that. So yeah. But I haven't tried any Foley wines.
Okay, just checking.
Mm.
Just because you're Kiwi and all that.
Right. Okay.
It's funny. Do you know Steve from down the road? He
Oh,
lives
no.
in
Yeah.
New Plymouth.
This was the story, the story I
Yeah.
told on Nice Drop of Port, Dale's podcast.
We'll give a shout, and actually, we'll put the link to his
Yeah.
podcast.
Great fellas,
Down there,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
have a story to tell, but you tell the story first.
that's literally what happened when I moved here, and I started working where I was working previously. I don't want to say the name because it's
That's fine. Bleep.
different company to where I'm working now. But yeah, someone literally asked me, "Oh, do you know so and so?" Because you're from New Zealand. First thought that went through my head was, "Mate, why the hell do you think I know this person?" And then it dawned on me, "Shit, I actually do know this person." It's like, yeah.
But you still said no. You
Amazing.
still said no just to keep your. Or you did say.
Yeah, it was. I said it.
Amazing.
I can't remember how I responded. I would have said it to his face, mate. I don't know this person. Then turn around like, yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. The odds of that happening.
I get
So
the same thing
very
when I used to work
stereotype.
for the New South Wales Police, because there's about 15,000 coppers plus
Yeah.
another 4,000 public servants. Oh, do you know so and so from the?
Yeah.
Oh, but you work for the New South Wales Police. Why wouldn't you? I'm thinking. Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
how many police stations there are? There are about 600,
Yeah.
and head offices and big regional stations. Anyway,
I knew a couple of people from the Isle of Wight, and I don't know what the population is, but you would talk to people and you go, "Do you know so and so?" And they would first. Everyone I spoke to would normally go. This is when I was like DJing and what have you. They normally go, "We don't know everyone on the island." I go,
Mm.
"So and
Same
so
thing,
who
yeah.
works that club," and they go, "Oh yeah, no, I do," like that, and that would genuinely happen all the time.
Yep.
So
oh
Yeah.
dear.
That's literally everyone. It's like the phone company in New Zealand, 2 degrees.
yeah,
Is because there's 2 degrees of
Two-
separation.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, really? Is that why?
Yeah.
It's called that?
Literally, like, yeah.
Wow.
It's very stereotypical, but it's actually quite
actually
bloody
true.
true.
Wow.
No wonder people ask.
Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
man.
Mate,
Now, I got this apology for Dale Owens. I thought Auckland was 2 hours in front. And it's not, it's 3.
Until daylight savings starts.
Yes. Well, see, I'd arranged to chat with Dale.
Right.
And this is my apology to Dale. I'm so sorry. We arranged to chat last night.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said to him, what time did we say? Because
6:30 our
half
time.
half
isn't it?
6 our time, 8:30 your time, right? And I mentioned 6:30 our time, 8:30 our time, your time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, "Oh, look, Matt's running late. Can you do 9:15 your time?" Thinking it was 7:15. So, and then in the meantime, I get asked for pizza, so I'll go and get pizza and bring it back, and then I sit in, and I get an email reply from Dale saying it's almost 10 o'clock here. I need to go to bed, and I'm thinking 10 o'clock. I go and check my phone, and he was right. It was 3 hours in front, and I went, "Oh no!"
That's only until I think it's tomorrow daylight savings.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But
It is
was
normally
so-
2 hours.
I felt so bad, and this Dale, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I just had it in my mind that it was 2 hours. You guys were 2 hours in front, and was
It
completely.
usually
stuffed up.
is. It usually is.
So yes, so I hope we can bring you on at some stage during the season. So yeah,
I get online, I come in, I had a busy day at work. I come rushing in, shower, food, literally, it's like watching Homer Simpson. And I sit down at the computer with a couple of minutes to spare, click it on, and Nick's like, all right? It's like, yeah, mate. I goes, there's a problem. And then I'm going, oh no. I'm like, oh no, mate. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, but it wasn't intentional. I'm so sorry. So, just got a couple of questions about the All Whites.
Sure.
Now that New Zealand will have 2 professional teams in the country, that's obviously going to benefit the All Whites.
Yep.
I was just thinking, how would that benefit? Would that obviously more engagement, kids having more idols to look up to? What else do you think?
There's a bit of that, and there's also even just the practical regular playing time in a competition that is actually a decent standard. There's a lot of Kiwis overseas playing. There's a couple playing top tier in Europe.
Chris Wood
won. Ben Old playing in France at Saint Etienne. Other players like that, and there's a sprinkling of lower division, sprinkling in other European competitions of a similar standard to the A-League. So it's practically, if you're going to be given regular game time playing in the A-League, why not consider it?
Yeah.
And that's going to have a flow-on effect, absolutely. Plus, like you say, the engagement with the local fans, seeing, the local kids seeing Kiwis in the flesh playing playing in a top division. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's a great thing because
it's always a good thing,
I know Christchurch is quite smaller. 10, 12 years from now, do you think there might be a Christchurch team?
Potentially. I don't think that I have heard in the past there have been, there should be a team in the South Island just to balance, whether a country the size of New Zealand can sustain a third professional team, I don't know. I don't think so. Auckland's big enough too.
Yeah, that's a
what are we looking at? Is there still 4 million in the country?
Be 5, probably closer to 6 now.
Okay,
But
so it's same as Ireland, basically, give or take.
How big's Auckland? Is it 1.5, 2 million people, or is it?
So it's about the quarter of the population of the country live in Auckland. Yeah. It was. I think it was the biggest city in Australasia to not have a pro football team. Yeah.
It made sense for Auckland. Yeah, I know Christchurch is quite smaller, and they love their rugby.
Yep.
I guess the whole country does.
Well, but the thing is, there's a football crowd anywhere you go in New Zealand. The Phoenix took games down to Christchurch, play at the old AMI Stadium. And they'd get 10 to 20,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't expect that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a crowd if they.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The football, it's a football crowd, and there's that whole, because there is no professional team there, you're going to go and watch them. And Wellington fans would travel down, of course, as well. Sure. Weekend in Christchurch, why not? Perhaps down the line, but I think there's a lot of things that need to be in place. Again, it's about sustainability.
And it could be that these 2 professional teams will grow the overall football support in the country to levels where now kids will want to play more football.
But the thing is, as well, you can't ignore the local competitions. There's the A-League, there's the NPL in Australia. There's the A-League, and there's the National League, or whatever that's called in New Zealand. You can support both. You can go to both. There's, a lot of things have to be working in tandem for that to happen, but there's no reason why, if you're in Christchurch, if you're in Dunedin, you can't support the local team there and be a fan of Auckland FC or Wellington Phoenix.
I think you can this side of the world.
Yeah.
It's normally, do you know what I mean?
Well, because a lot of that is, particularly in the UK, that's where you're from.
Yeah.
That's your team.
Yeah.
But that's not the landscape as such now with the A-League.
Yeah.
Think back in the day when it was NSL, like if you're...
what's NSL? Sorry.
The National Soccer League.
Okay.
It was the league before the A-League.
All right.
But that was where your Marconi Stallions, your Bonnie White Eagles...
Because you had to be Italian for that, really. I mean...
Yeah. Those sort of clubs were based, There's the ethnic supporter base, but that's the team from that suburb.
Yeah.
They'd say if you were non-Italian, you wanted to support them, they'd probably say, well, why are you here?
There'd be a bit of that.
It sounds like a bit American, because that sounds like what that was. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's an Italian team as such.
I think it's uniquely Australian.
Yeah.
I think it's. I'm not sure. Maybe if it was American, maybe if several decades ago. But I think Australia
sorry, that's
really
what I meant.
conserved that. You have immigrants coming over from Italy and Greece and stuff coming over, and they conserve their culture so much that when they go back to Italy and Greece, the Italians and the Greeks have moved on, and they're still thinking 1960s, 19.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of those clubs started. The current NPL clubs, a lot of those were born out of the immigrants.
Yeah.
Keeping their, people wanted somewhere to go to relate to, like an Italian. If you're an Italian, I want to be with the Italians, Greeks, etc. Like even in the Northern Territory, there was a team that played in the Australia Cup, which is the knockout tournament.
Yep.
Nepalese background, which was amazing. Darwin Hearts, I think it was.
Really? Wow.
First time a team with Nepalese background had played on the national stage like that. So that kind of diaspora.
When was that? That
was this tournament. Yeah.
I missed that. Okay.
All right. That's how it is with.
I know there's I think it's South Australia. There's a team that is Dutch.
Yep.
And they still have the pictures of the Dutch Queen and stuff, and they're speaking Dutch, and it's a similar thing. I like that.
Yeah, so do I.
I mean,
it's unique.
As long as it's all peaceful. It's not they don't start looking for running battles against the Flemish or the Belgian teams and whatever. But I think that's what. Yeah, I used to know Alex Sanchez from Sydney Olympic. He's Spanish. He's from Zaragoza. And we got invited to at the Instituto Cervantes. We have the Spanish language school here in Sydney. La Liga evening questions with Glenn Rolls, who's the delegate, La Liga delegate. I've got to get the title right. And basically, Alex Sanchez was there, and he was fun to talk to. Even though he wasn't playing in the A League, he was playing for Sydney Olympic, Greek based team. I spoke with him the whole time. I didn't speak with anyone from the A-League because we were just having so much fun, just chatting. And he's now in India. He's one top goal scorer in the Indian Pro League as well. So
nice.
He'll be on. He'll be on at one stage.
Okay.
Cool. Do you have any other questions or?
Yeah,
I think we've done quite
I didn't
a lot,
really want
actually.
him on in the first place.
Sorry,
I didn't want him on in the first place. I said. It's good enough, just you and me. Why do we need to get someone else? I got to set up. Look at the camera I had to set up. Look, it's ridiculous.
All this extra work.
No, I don't. No, it's been absolutely brilliant.
Oh, man, I've loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me, boys.
Yeah.
I genuinely, like anything to do with New Zealand football, A-League. I just love. I love this competition. It's to me, it's the best in the world.
And I said it. I've said it. This is the third time I've said it now. I genuinely was really enjoying just listening to you two go backwards and forwards, and I actually forgot to do this a couple of times, so I've got a lot of editing to do, right? Because I was like, yeah,
a lot of noddies.
And like I'm talking away, and it's like now the camera's on Nick. I'm like, yeah. Quick, switch back like this. No one knows.
No, and I wanted a couple of surprises like the flag, because we were talking about the flag poles and this. So,
I loved it.
I'd have laughed if you actually bought the flagpole and not the flag.
It's right behind you.
Was that it?
No, but it's go and get it. We should
pull it out just before. Will it actually fit?
Okay.
The flag itself cost $5. The pole cost $22.
Yeah, it's big enough, but I think
no, this is a great flag. I'll bring it. And we're actually going to go when we do get the tickets for the Auckland MacArthur game. We're going to be outside the stadium first. We get there early. I know it's a Unite round, which is great. We could go into.
I'm hoping to get that day off work.
Sorry for interrupting, mate.
No,
sorry. I just thought it just cropped up in my head. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm hopefully I'm going to ask my bosses, and this is probably the first time they've heard it. That
you heard it here first. Nick and Matt's podcast.
Yes. No, I'm hoping to get that. Hoping to get that day off so I can go and watch.
Brilliant.
It's a great time, because I rang up MacArthur because I couldn't figure out why on earth they were playing at the Allianz and not down in Campbelltown. And then the person asked, I said Unite this a few podcasts ago, oh no, it's the Unite round.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
I was at the Unite round last year when I watched Adelaide Sydney FC, or Sydney FC Adelaide. I'm good friends with Javi Lopez for the Espanol connection, so we're in touch. And so anytime that Adelaide goes in, I go down to watch the game. Now I'll be going to watch Adelaide with my Auckland FC shirt.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
and still support. If it's just Adelaide playing Sydney or something, I'll support Adelaide. But
Why not?
And Javi's a great guy. I'm so pleased he's here for 4th season now. It's like, wow, this is a luxury for Espanol supporters like myself, having someone like Javi Lopez. We had another player as well, Sanchez. Oh, gosh, I've forgotten his name. Victor Sanchez. He was here for 1 year.
Yes.
He told me, because we met at the Crown Plaza in Coogee, that's where the Western United and Adelaide stay. He said that he signed for 2 years, but he was only there for 1 year.
Oh.
And he signed during the COVID thing. Javi Lopez signed for 1 year, but he's just been extended.
Rolled on, yeah.
Ironic that Western United won the title in the second year he could have been there, but he went back to Spain. So these things happen in football, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we're hoping to be there. We're hoping to ask. I'll say to him, see if we can have something light. Obviously, don't bring all this stuff. So we can just ask fans. We want to hear from fans.
Absolutely.
What's the vibe like? How's your team been so far? We'll come up with some questions and stuff like that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, hopefully I bump into you boys. It'd be it'd be awesome.
When they come over, we'll do the exact same questions. Do you know Steve who lives on this road? And they'll say exactly the same. That'd be hilarious if they did. No, we.
Oh, he's my next door neighbour. Yeah.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure having you.
I've loved it.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having me
much.
on,
Thank
boys.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And
2 in 1 show. Well done.
That's it. That's it. That's a big one. So So thanks for being here again, and until next week.
Yep. Ciao. Take
Ciao.
care.
Up the port.
Up the port.